For mothers who want a manual breast pump, Ameda offers a pump with an award-winning design. The one-hand breast pump handle assembly may be included with your pump kit, or it may be purchased separately. The one-hand breast pump attaches easily to your hygienic kit and allows you to achieve multi-phase pumping by simply squeezing its handle. Before you pump, wash your hands well with soap and water. If your pump is marked sterile, you may open and use it right away. If your pump is not marked sterile, boil all of its parts for 20 minutes to sanitize them. Then, let them air dry. To assemble the one-hand breast pump, first fit the piston seal onto the base of the piston. Push the center of the handle down and snap the top of the piston into the groove on the handle. Push the piston into the upper chamber of the breast flange. Pull the handle down and snap the collar around the groove of the breast flange. Gently push the white valve firmly into place onto the ring on the underside of the breast flange. Screw the flange onto the bottle. The handle assembly is attached correctly if the top of the handle is a straight line. The pump can be used with either hand. To begin pumping, grasp the handle with your thumb in front and fingers behind the upper chamber of the breast flange. Place your hand as high as you can on the pump handle, with one side of the handle in the groove between your thumb and forefinger. Swivel the handle for wrist comfort. Center your nipple in the breast flange and hold the flange to your breast to make an air seal. Tilt the flange slightly downward so milk flows into the bottle. With the one-hand breast pump, you can control pump suction and pump speed just by squeezing the handle. The harder you squeeze, the stronger its suction. The faster you squeeze, the greater its speed. Begin pumping with a few minutes of fast, gentle squeezes. This may help trigger the letdown reflex or milk release just as your baby does at the start of a breastfeeding. You can also encourage milk release with a warm compress or by massaging your breast with your free hand either before or during pumping. When your milk begins to flow, use slower, stronger squeezes, never squeezing harder than feels comfortable. With the one-hand breast pump, you can use fast, gentle squeezes to trigger milk release and slow, stronger squeezes to drain the milk faster. This multi-phase pumping mimics a baby at the breast. You can also try the squeeze, hold, and release technique, which may make manual pumping easier. After the faster, gentle squeezes trigger milk release, squeeze the pump handle. Then hold it as your milk flows into the collection bottle. Continue to squeeze and hold while the pump automatically releases suction until you need to stimulate another milk release. Gentle, fast squeezes will once again trigger a milk release. With the one-hand breast pump, each pumping session should take about 20 to 30 minutes, and it's a good idea to switch breaths about every 5 to 7 minutes. When you have finished pumping, simply remove the pump from your breast. Unscrew the collection bottle and screw the locking caps into place. Follow the milk storage guidelines you were given. To clean the one-hand breast pump, take it completely apart. First, remove the white valve carefully by pulling it off by its thick sides, not the flat edge. Next, detach the handle from the breast flange. Then gently pull the piston out of the upper chamber of the flange. Flex the center of the handle and the piston will detach easily. Finally, remove the piston seal. Rinse all parts of the system in cool water. Then wash them in warm, soapy water, rinse them well, and let them air dry.
Hi, I'm Nancy Moorbacher, co-author of Breastfeeding Made Simple, 7 Natural Laws for Nursing Mothers. Let's talk about breast pumping, milk production, and ways to maintain your milk supply when you're away from your baby regularly. Many mothers wonder how much milk they should expect to pump at each session. Let's begin with the factors that can affect milk yield.
One factor that affects milk yield is how long it's been since your last breastfeeding or pumping. Time of day is also a factor. Most mothers pump more milk in the morning than in the evening. How much practice you've had with your pump can also make a difference. Your mood can affect milk yield too. When you're relaxed, you're likely to pump more milk than when you're stressed. If your baby is exclusively breastfed and you're pumping a half hour to an hour after a morning feeding, expect to pump about half a feeding. If you're exclusively breastfeeding and you're pumping for a missed breastfeeding, expect to pump a full feeding. How much is a feeding? This varies during the first month of your baby's life. From about your baby's 3rd to 7th day, an average feeding amount is 1 to 2 ounces or 30 to 60 milliliters. During your baby's 2nd and 3rd weeks, feedings average about 2 to 3 ounces or 60 to 90 milliliters. From about 1 month to about 6 months of age, a baby's growth slows. For this reason, feeding volumes stay fairly stable, averaging about 3 to 5 ounces or 90 to 150 milliliters. No matter what your situation, knowing how milk production works can help you meet your breastfeeding goals. The more often and more fully the milk is drained from your breasts, the faster your breasts make milk. The opposite is also true. The fewer times each day you breastfeed or pump, and the more milk that's left in your breasts, the slower you produce milk. In other words, drained breasts make milk faster, and full breasts make milk slower. If you're employed, attending school, or often away from baby for any reason, something else that's good to know is that between about 1 month and 6 months of age, most babies need about the same amount of milk each day. So after 1 month or so, if you're breastfeeding exclusively and your baby is thriving, you're making about as much milk as your baby will ever need. After this point, all you need to do is keep your milk production steady. At around 6 months, as babies begin to eat more and more other foods, they need less and less milk. From 1 to 6 months of age, at most, babies drink on average somewhere between 25 and 35 ounces or 750 to 1,000 milliliters of milk per day. At an average breastfeeding, babies older than 1 month take about 3 to 5 ounces or 90 to 150 milliliters of milk. If you'll be away from your baby for part of the day, you can decrease the amount of milk your baby needs while you're away by breastfeeding more when you're together. For every extra breastfeeding, your baby will need 3 to 5 ounces or 90 to 150 milliliters less expressed milk that day. If your milk production begins to drop before your baby starts solid foods, there are many ways to boost it. First, think about your daily routine. Have your daily number of milk removals by the baby and the pump stayed stable over time? Are you breastfeeding less when you're at home? Are you pumping less at work? If so, you can make milk faster by breastfeeding or pumping more times each day. What's your longest stretch between milk removals? If it's longer than about 8 hours, shorten it. Remember, full breasts make milk slower. Also, Your flange fit can change over time. If your nipples are rubbing on the sides of the flange tunnel during pumping, you may pump more milk with a larger size. Either before or during pumping, try gentle breast massage. Some mothers find this can boost their milk yield right away. Talk to a breastfeeding specialist about other ways to speed milk production. Designed to be used in the hospital, at home, or at work, the complete range of Ameda breastfeeding products can help provide a healthy beginning for both you and your baby. Thank you for watching.